It changed my life. It changed my perception of physical reality. It changed my outlook on life.
Interesting. My wife.
I'm mainly just excited and
My
happy.
wife was really big into science and biology, and when I first got married, I said, her thing was, well, I really don't believe, this is her age, but she says, I really don't believe the stories in the Bible, they're just stories. And she says, and this is when I first married, we're 60, I'm 62, and she was too. So she was saying, you know, I believe in galaxies and
well, don't get me started on outer space.
But I mean, she doesn't know. We don't know. But she just thinks there's more to this matter than just.
Oh yes, there absolutely is.
That's kind of
EEZE?
Yeah.
You've been affected.
By the Mandela Effect?
You have been affected by the Mandela Effect. Well, look at it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You remember something one way, it's actually always been that way.
Right.
Now, my theory is you're right, it was EEZE. Your consciousness shifted into a timeline where this is the way it's always was.
It's a brand.
This did not change, you did.
Right.
Okay? Is it Home Depot or the Home Depot? The Home Depot. In this timeline, yes, that is correct. Victoria's Secret or Victoria's Secret?
Victoria's.
Nothing. You're not getting any of these?
Oh, am I supposed to be guessing?
Yeah.
Oh, everything's guessing.
J.C. Penney. Go for it, everybody.
What about it?
How do you spell it?
J period C period E-N-N-Y?
P-E-N-N-Y.
Or is it E-Y?
E-Y.
Oh, nice job.
It is EY. Answer your questions honestly now.
Well, now I'm on video.
I'm going to explain to you the Mandela. I'm going to ask you questions.
I've already gone through this process, so I'm gonna.
You know what it is?
Oh, you're in the middle. I've already talked to you about this process.
Yeah, I knew you looked familiar. Anyway. What? No.
Probably see about.
What should I start with? How many people were in the car when JFK was murdered?
14.
14. 4. You sure?
Well, the one that you watched. That's what I'm going with.
This is the Mandela Effect. I studied it in the 80s. There was 4 people in the car. In this timeline, there's 6.
You know, 14 people in the
That's
car.
it. Just yeah.
Okay. 2 in the back.
Jiffy, Skippy, Peter Pan.
Yeah, you just didn't see them.
What are they?
Jeffy, Skippy, and Peter Pan. Types of peanut butter.
Jiffy, Skippy, and Peter Pan are. But the first one was Jiffy, Skippy, Peter Pan. Jiffy, Skip. There's 4 peanut butters there. They're all peanut butters.
Jiffy, Skippy, and Peter Pan. You only told me 3.
And what about Jif?
Yeah, you missed the whole front end of it.
Jif, Jiffy, Skippy, Peter Pan. One of those don't exist out of those 4, and it's Jiffy. Jiffy never existed. That's like spell Berenstein. Berenstein Bears, nothing. Okay.
I was gonna say Berenstein Bears, little kids book. I've been to Berenstein Bears land. I'm terrible at spelling.
Fruit Loops, Kit Kat. Does Kit Kat have a dash?
No.
Okay, my shirt. No, it doesn't have a dash in this timeline. My shirt has the Monopoly Man on it. Does he wear a monocle or does he not wear a monocle?
He does wear a monocle. Well, the one he wears a monocle, the second he doesn't.
Right, but for you, what do you remember?
He wears a monocle.
He does wear a monocle. In this timeline, he's never worn a monocle.
Kit Kat.
And he's just saying. He already said he doesn't have a dash. Yeah, he was right about that. But I don't want to mention that one again. How do you spell Fruit Loops?
It is Fruitl. No.
I'm gonna have to edit this tape.
Well, fruit is obviously. Yeah.
Fruit is obvious, right? Fruit, right? Loops, Loops. In this timeline, it's Froot.
I was trying to debate if it was, because I've seen it different lines. Yeah.
You've seen it differently. So your consciousness was in one timeline, saw it that way, and then it shifted your consciousness because that's all that's real. Anything? Nothing? You guys? Nothing. This guy's it's like taking it in stride. Oh, cool. I need more. I need Febreze. What weapon did the Scarecrow carry in The Wizard of Oz?
Where did he carry this? Oh, no.
Definitely gonna have to edit this tape. I know, yeah. They're already a half hour long with
I'm
these
sorry, I
interviews.
gotta think about before I
Think
answer.
about it. What weapon did he
Vote
have?
Trump, I don't know.
Definitely editing this tape. I know. I gotta put Pink Floyd back on. I'm going to right now.
Why are you only asking me? Like,
TV show with the 4 girls running around New York City. If it's a question I haven't asked you, go ahead and answer. Or if you're not sure, or if you think you want to. Sex something. TV show running 4 girls running around New York City.
Sex in the City.
What is it?
Sex in the City.
In the city? In this timeline, it's Sex and the City. Here's the thing, it's always been Sex and the City. I remember Sex and the City. So do you. That's what the Mandela Effect is. Changes in history that can't be explained. I've been saying thousands. I'm sure there's hundreds. There probably is thousands. I don't know. I can't think of 10 of them while I'm here, so there's hundreds of them. I don't know. All right, Pink Floyd, here we go. For me, John Deere has changed back and forth. I mean, I don't care. I don't. Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, you know, got a shredded part in there.
You ever hear this?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, what do you know about it?
I don't, but I've seen that somewhere.
Mandela Effect. It's
Some music, some drums.
no, it's changes in history people can't explain.
Oh yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's
like
right up my alley.
yeah, like did you know how many people were in the car when JFK was murdered?
5?
5. I remember 4. I studied in the 80s.
4.
It was actually 6. That's the Mandela Effect because you're absolutely sure. But they're 6. 2, 2, and 2. The car's longer, bulletproof glass.
Oh, okay.
How would you spell Febreze?
F-R-E-E. Breathe.
So you see F-E-R-B-R-E-E-Z-E. Okay, there's only one E in it in this timeline now. It's my theory that your consciousness shifts through timelines, and I'm noticing changes, and it's pretty wild. Do you mind if I put it on YouTube?
Oh.
TV show with the 4 girls running around New York City. You know what that might have been called? Sex something?
Oh, Sex in the City?
Sex in the City. In this timeline, it's Sex and the City. Now here's the key. It's always been Sex and the City. But I'm sure it was Sex in the City. I've seen it. I bought DVDs.
Sex and the City.
And it's always been Sex and the City. How do you explain that? You're sure it was in, right?
That's how I felt it was.
Yeah. What else we got? There's just so many changes, and to me,
Which is in the Matrix, man.
well, a lot of people think it's a computer program.
Well, it's a mind program.
It's all about what's
I've seen it shift and vibrate and change, but there was a lot of bass needed. Some dancing to see that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I hear you.
Ancient dance.
I hear you.
I even was taught that dance either.
No.
No, I just started doing something in a certain way.
What happened? What did you do? Explain it.
Took over homie's DJ set with my mind, man. Started breaking waves in the matrix that we're living in. And everybody got all weird for a second. A couple weeks ago, actually. It was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, you could see all this.
Yeah, I know. I seen it all, and people seen it, and people talked to me about it afterwards. So I was like,
Whoa.
It was weird. It was cool.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah, as deep as it gets. I'd say more, but
Yeah, for me.
I think I'm crazy.
No. Hey, look. You know, you want to hear crazy? I've had the stars come at me from different directions for about 2 minutes. What?
I've had some crazy star action.
Talk to me about that.
These look like stars at first, and then they take off. It was 2006. NASA seen the same stuff. I seen it years later on TV. And we woke people up. Wake up! Come out here. There's something going on. Get up, man. We want to make sure we're not just seeing stuff. And we woke up all the youngsters and got them up, and we watched it for hours.
Oh,
Pulled
really?
the telescope out, seen them on the telescope. Instead of one light, it was 2 rectangle lights. I got it on my telescope just right for maybe like 2 seconds. Maybe not even 2 seconds. Just enough to tell that it was 2 different lights.
Oh.
And not just one bright light.
Nice.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was a cool night. Got fired that weekend too, though, because I talked about it at work. And the lady was like,
Oh, I kind of,
like, yeah,
I lost
you
the
talking about
promotion.
UFOs, man. Time to go. You gotta
I
go.
lost the promotion because I told the boss I felt the Earth wasn't a ball flying through space. So I think we might be flat, dude. And he's like, you think that's going to get you that promotion? I said, really? You just said that to me? I let it go. I dropped it. I needed to get out of Mississippi.
There's a time and a
anyway.
place for a lot of the information we've got sitting in our brain.
Oh, yeah. Well, things are changing. Since 2015, I've seen some wacky stuff, and now I've started posting on YouTube, and other people are having the same experiences, and a lot of people are noticing changes in history. It's kind of wild. Thanks a lot for your time.
Take it easy.
All right, man. The Monopoly Man, does he have a monocle or not?
I believe so.
I believe so. I always thought so, too. He does not in this timeline.
Huh. Did he at one time?
Depending on where your consciousness resided, sure.
Okay.
And
Where was your consciousness that had you resided?
Since you remembered, I'm going to say, yeah, for you, it used to be that way.
Okay.
But you don't remember everything.
Why was that a change?
Because your consciousness shifted into another timeline.
I see. Alright.
Why? That's a whole other video. Oh, goody. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you. Absolutely. SUSSO. It's SUSO. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a few questions and then explain the Mandela Effect. Should I start out with, how do you spell Febreze?
Then in 2016, the earth shifted beneath our feet. Can we read that again?
She's the spelling bee winner.
Oh,
Like
you
the
just
brand name, Febreze.
Febreze, the spray stuff that's toxic and all that stuff that you spray all over.
F-E-B-R-E-E-Z.
Okay. TV show with the 4 girls running around New York City. Anybody know what it's called?
Sex in the City.
Sex in the City. In the City. Tom Cruise movie Vampires. Interview something.
Interview with a Vampire?
Interview with a Vampire. You're scoring 100% here. You have no idea. How many people were in the car when JFK was murdered? 4.
Somebody else.
Not riding on the bumper, but
Does Kit Kat have a dash?
No.
Yes and no. That's awesome. Okay. Now, I don't have it on. The Monopoly Man. Does he wear glasses? Does he wear nothing? Or does he wear a monocle?
Monocle.
He wears a monocle. I think I've just crushed you guys enough. And they got kids with them. This is going to be great. Okay. Febreze.
I was going to actually get a bottle of Febreze. It has one in it. Yeah.
Okay. There are 6 people in the car when JFK was murdered. It did happen. It's Interview with the Vampire. It is Sex and the City.
Oh my word.
Yeah. What else did I ask you? I don't even remember.
Well, I've never seen the movie. I never watched the show, but so I'm just.
Well, I've
guessing.
seen it as in. I've seen it, but I studied the JFK assassination. There was 4 people in the car. Okay. Now I've been at it for a couple years, studying this. Watch other people on YouTube have come across these experiences. I've had other experiences other than the Mandela Effect. It's called the Mandela Effect because a lot of people remember him dying in the late 80s, and then he went on to become president of South Africa and died again. Okay, Muhammad Ali died twice for me. Nichelle Nichols died 3 times for me. Gene Wilder dies every 10 years for me. It's amazing.
Before or after we just.
It's called the Mandela Effect because that's when people started to notice that Fiona Broom has a channel, MandelaEffect.com, and I started talking with these people on there, and it just blew up from there, and it's growing. It is changes in history that can't be explained. Spellings are being changed, Fruit Loops. I remember the word fruit, but now it's F-R-O-O-T. They may always remember F-R-O-O-T.
They don't know what Fruit Loops are. They don't get to eat those.
That a girl, that's awesome.
They got Cheerios.
But that's really what it is. It's changes in history that can't be explained. Now, after all the studying, I have theorized that the only thing that's real is your consciousness, and what's happening is your consciousness is shifting into other timelines. And because of experiences I have had, I have come to the conclusion that this can be manipulated, used, controlled. You can shift yourself into a timeline that you desire.
period.
Yeah, wow. Took me 2 years. I just gave you all that in 5 minutes. 4 minutes. But it's pretty. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me. Just talking. I was just talking to somebody the other day about Jerry Lewis. We were playing Dean Martin. We were playing Frank Sinatra. We were talking about Jerry, how he was already dead, and how it's going to be funny how he's going to show up being just dying or something. And here it is. I just received a comment that somebody would rather hear me talk about my experiences, interpretations, and the process I go through and the way I interpret them and what I'm doing about it than hearing other people's interviews. I agree with the guy. I feel like I get more good information out there, letting people know what the process is, what I'm doing, what I'm actually experimenting with, even though I'm not giving you everything. Because I don't want to just blurt stuff out and say, this didn't work. Well, the no meat thing, look, I only went max 3 weeks without meat before other things started to happen, before I started to notice things. And I only started eating meat again when I got back from Mississippi. So the experiences were happening with no meat. I went down to Mississippi, had chicken and shrimp, came back up to Colorado and started eating meat again. And everything dwindled down. I got off the meat. And I'm wondering, is it just certain times? Is it certain times that we should be steering away from meat, not releasing sexual energy, not having alcohol, not smoking? It could be certain times. They could be moon phases. I've looked into that, and I'm not picking anything up directly that's going to be it. I do think it has something to do with the energy that you're eating and the chemicals that are put in the stuff. So I've been staying off the meat again, even though it was a month and a week or a half or whatever. And yeah, you're going to go soon too. I just don't, and it's like one of the last things I'm getting rid of because they don't bother me, and I think it'll be one of the easiest things to stop. And I'm quite sure I'm probably not going to get back into that. Well, that's a process we'll get to later. The artificial sweetener's gone. I'd say sugar's gone completely, except for the morning. I can't find anything to eat around here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue, and I like that idea about just putting out my experiences and the interpretations, because it's going to be shorter. It won't be me wasting time at the bar interviewing people, which I find interesting. I may do it once in a while and stick one in if I think it's good. But it's getting redundant. They're answering the same things. I'm asking the same questions, even though I got this book here or somewhere that I have a list of things, and I look at this list and I go, "Ooh, how do I ask this question? How do I word this?" And I'm like, I really didn't prepare. It's better off the top of my head. And I tried to change them up, so I'm not asking the same questions over and over again to the same people, explaining the same thing. So you're constantly hearing the same thing over again. I get it. So once in a while I may do that. It's fun. I enjoy it, and it wakes people up. But am I doing more for people by explaining my experiences and wasting money on buying Mandela Effects? And I say wasting money, but I didn't realize how much I like sweet tarts. And, it cracks me up because I'll buy a Kit Kat and sweet tarts and some double stuffed Oreos, and I eat them and then buy them again. I'm like, I got to stop with the sugar. That's not doing me any favors. I almost popped open a box of cereal the other day. So no, I'm not going to do that anymore. They are items.
We started the Large Hadron Collider Over in Switzerland, right? Switzerland, right? So
And that's the big nuke, like they throw protons
right,
and
exactly.
neutrons,
Right, they're
all
doing
that
everything
shit.
they can. They
Smashing them
smash them
into
together to see if they can.
That was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Right, exactly, around the same time. This is what I'm saying. So the theory is this: is that, and when they did that, what they did when they collided is they changed the weight of one electron, and by changing that weight, it altered our reality by just a very minimal amount, just a little bit. Nothing that's like noticeable in general, but things that you notice in just little small ways, like this effect. That's why it's called the effect, because it's just little disagreements. Where it's like, no, I know for a fact, I know that song.
Like the day he died.
Yeah, there's a difference about the day he died, but it also comes down to like song lyrics or like names of shows, like was it Sex in the City or was it Sex and the City? Little things like that, just little shit like that. It just seems minute, but it's all of us together like are just like, wait a minute, that's weird, and that's why it's so fascinating. It's just a weird little thing where it's like, what happened? Something happened. So if you believe in string theory, you believe in like multiple, parallel universes, and we just basically shifted. We shifted to one that's 99.9% just like the one we were in, but that little difference is what everybody freaks out about.
But that's what happens. It's not just the Mandela.
Right, but they
There
call
was
it
probably
this.
something 100 years before.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I feel that that's how we create motion and time. I think we've been doing it our whole lives.
He's sitting here filming the whole time.
I'm filming that whole conversation. I just love listening to somebody else explain it because it gives me a headache.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Best day of my life.
Aren't you working?
No, I got off. I got a beer over here.
Oh, good, good.
Hey, this is the boss. He owns Leadville. Can I get a bud, guy? Come on. Can anybody get a beer around
I
here?
thought you didn't drink, you just smoked weed.
This ain't for me. And I'm on film. You're filming that? and I'm drinking a beer right here. But I don't drink to get drunk. I drink to be sociable so I can talk to you about all the changes in history.
Okay, cool.
Did I tell you about the JFK thing?
No,
How many people were in the car when JFK was murdered?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's the honest answer.
It's icing on the cake.
Yeah, history was my worst subject. But
Well, let's try something else. How about Fruit Loops? How do you spell Fruit Loops? Forget that one. Two O's, yeah. That's why I said forget it. I read your mind. How about TV show with the 4 girls running around New York City? What would you call that TV show?
I don't watch TV.
Sex something? I don't either, so you're already smarter.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't be sorry. Trying to figure out how do you spell Febreze? You're not good at spelling either. Okay, how do you spell Johnny Walker? I'll even let you look at it from way over there. Without looking at it? Are you looking? You look. Go ahead, spell it. Spell Johnny Walker. Smart guy. Good. Over here. Look at me. Don't look at the whiskey. Oh.
N-I-E.
Two N's.
N-N-Y and N-I-E. Which one is it?
N-N-I-E.
I-E or Y? It is I-E in this timeline.
But 2 N's.
Yeah, a lot of people. Some people have said 1 N, and I thought that was strange.
I would have said the 1 N. I suck, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're sorry.
So how long have you lived here?
Year and a half. I'm from Philadelphia originally, but I've gotten around Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Mississippi. How do you spell Berenstein? Berenstein Bears. Spell it.
B-A-R-R.
That's a
B-E-A-R? Oh, that's a thing.
B-E-A-R. It's a thing.
Yeah, because some people remember it. Okay.
So,
no, this is, yeah.
yeah, it is.
You guys talked
Fly
twice.
Eagles fly.
Huh?
Fly Eagles fly.
Fly, my pretties, fly. Do you remember Fly, my pretties, fly? You guys have a great
Is that a
night.
Wizard of Oz reference?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the
How would you know that? That's never been said.
monkeys.
That was neat. Hey,
Don't leave your
there's the
over.
money for the bud. This is my check and my cash. See what happens when I drink a beer? See over here. How do you spell Chevrolet without looking at my shirt?
C-H-E-V-E-R.
E-V-E, huh?
C-H-E-V-E-R.
All right, now look at my shirt. The way it's on my shirt is how it's always been spelled throughout history. Yeah, actually, it's missing an E. I remember an E right here. Yeah, your consciousness shifted into another timeline. BERENSTEIN, AIN, or INEN?
Oh my god.
EIN.
EIN. In this timeline, it's AIN. Berenstain Bears. And if you have those old books at home, it'll say AIN.
It's like, no, it's Berenstain, because it was pronounced Berenstain.
Yeah.
Yeah, put an A in there. Come on now.
Which timeline are you from? That's all it is. Focus, emotion, and you can do whatever you want. It's more than the secret, and it's more than the new age, new agey talk. You can shift your consciousness into another timeline and have anything you want, period, bottom line. I'm testing stuff now because of other experiences I've had. I mean, I've had orbs tell me not to eat meat. I mean, what? I had a cigarette, a joint, and a beer, and they're telling me not to eat meat. I mean,
It's going to be whatever you want to
something's got to be up with that, right? So I'm experimenting.
It makes a variable thing. It can come, it can go.
Well, it's not just that. I think it's a lot of the chemicals and the energy and the animals, and I think it has a lot to do with it. But oh yeah, that was neat. I so want to get those experiences back. I so want to feel what I felt when I went through the stars coming at me like this for 2.5 minutes, 8 of them, and like this, midnight, nobody's around, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I was in shock, probably for a week or two, but then I started documenting things, and other things started to happen. And from all those experiences, I've come to the conclusion that I was just dropping my money all over the place. We shift into other timelines, and we're multi-dimensional beings. That's how I say it. To being multi-dimensional. Boom! Go for it.
Sounds
That was great.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with the JFK car person issues was all shot on a sound stage on the moon.
That's beautiful. Love that. Somebody talked about, me talking about the experiences and whatnot, and I'm thinking, I am talking about them. I'm talking about all my stuff. And I went, wait, you know what? I'm actually not. I'll bring something up in a video that I think I've talked about because I wrote it down as an experience. And while I'm writing my book, I'm going, oh, you know what? I never talked about that either. I never talked about this one or that one. And it's just as well, if it's something I think someone can learn something from, I'll absolutely put it up here. There's some things that I mentioned briefly in other videos, like the phone number that I started screaming out that I didn't know for 35 something years, whatever. But I knew it in my teens, and I've been looking for it for years and trying to remember what it was. And in 2016, I woke up blurting it out. I mean, what are you going to learn from that? I'm not sure what I learned from that. I mean, I did learn something from that, but I didn't get into all the intricate healing I went through because I did. I mean, I went through a lot. I may have mentioned something, but I'm quite sure you didn't get it all. There's a lot of things that I leave out. And why? Maybe I'm not comfortable with talking about it. Maybe, maybe it's really personal. I mean, look, I could sit here and talk about, it's just some things. And what I can do is I can experiment with things and then break it down in terms that are not so defined for you about me. That makes sense? Does that make sense? And Holland is the same. So when you said you're from Holland, is that a country to you?
To be exactly, Holland is part of the Netherlands.
That's where I'm getting at. Okay.
We're from Holland.
Okay.
And they're from the Netherlands. But we're from Holland.
From Holland. I'm more from Holland than you because
Yeah,
I'm born in
south of Holland, of course.
So is Holland a country? I think that's what I'm getting. It is. So what's Netherlands?
The Netherlands.
The kingdom.
Is a kingdom.
It's the kingdom of the Netherlands.
Kingdom of the Netherlands. You don't have a king, but we have. And the king in ancient times, when we had a part of our country was still overflowed by the sea, and that was the part the king was ruling. And later we built some dikes and we got more country, and that was the Netherlands. Because the king wasn't in reign anymore, we had a government.
So that was Holland. Holland was first. Is that what you're saying? Holland was, and then the Netherlands.
It became the Netherlands.
Okay. I'm just trying to just get out that Holland is a country, and so is the Netherlands.
It is.
But they're both in Holland's inside the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But they're both countries.
No, it's one country. The Netherlands is the country, and Holland is part of it. It's the old.
You're from a different timeline. Is that what you're saying? Is that you're laughing at me? That's exactly what I'm talking about because
it's difficult. It's difficult
to explain.
Okay, because now, and so is the Mandela Effect, difficult to explain if I cannot find something that you've noticed has shifted. For instance, have you ever heard of the Berenstain Bears?
Again? What?
Berenstain. Yeah.
No, probably not.
Right. Okay, we're going to go with, how about JFK? You ever hear of him?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know how many people were in the car when he died, when he was murdered? Three, four.
Yeah.
Okay, now, follow me here. There's 6 people in that car, but when I studied it, there was 4.
Yeah.
But if you look it up now, it's always been 6. That's the Mandela Effect. Changes in history that you cannot explain. Okay? Interesting. If you look it up now, and as soon as I shut this off, I'm going to show you a picture, and you're just going to be like, what? Yeah, and there's thousands of changes that people online, YouTube, Reddit, they're online, YouTube have found these changes. Listen, honestly, some could be people misremembering, but we all know there was 4 people in that car. So all you need is really one 100%er thing that you're sure of, and you know the Mandela Effect is a real thing.
But you can ask one of the 4 people in the car because one died, the other 3 they lived, so they can tell you how many people they were in the car.
They're all dead now, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I think everybody in that. I think the last one I
think it's on film.
Last one was Connolly's wife, and she wasn't even in the car when I studied it in the 80s.
Yeah, she was.
She
was, I think.
You remember her in the car?
Yeah.
With the pink, she had a pink. I even know what she was wearing.
I just found it again.
See, that's why I don't drink, man. I can't even find my beer.
She wore pink, and she tried to climb out of the car, over the trunk.
That was very true. But I'm going to show you a picture now. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. So Chevrolet, you saw the E there on this shirt, so that's one of my new shirts. And yes, I'm familiar with the Berenstain Bears.
We actually have made a little bit of bar bet money on that one because I would have bet the farm on
Stein.
Stein, yeah. Berenstain Bears as opposed to Stein.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money on this stuff. But then again, if you shift your consciousness into a timeline where it was Stein, you're going to lose a lot of money.
But the Sinbad movie exists in that timeline. So
I actually videotaped the guy who was describing the Sinbad movie.
Yep.
And then I had everybody going, what? Wait a minute. Everybody's all confused.
Totally.
But like a couple of things that have happened to me that aren't real popular on YouTube, just a couple of people have stated this. For me, Elvis died in 72, not 77. He may have died both times for me. I was young, but I do know 72. That's what was said to me in this timeline. You're not wrong. Pepsi.
He and I have the same birthday.
In this timeline. I end every sentence like that. It's okay. Pepsi symbol changed for me. It used to be a wave on the top, wave on the bottom. Now, I always used to say blue wave on top, red wave on the bottom. But I just recently found a John Lennon interview, and he has the can, just like I know it, That doesn't exist or never has, supposedly, but it's red on the top and blue on the bottom. And I'm like, that makes more sense because the whole can's red at the bottom. So that makes a lot more sense. What's up, boss? They just look at me funny.
Things get put back differently when the lizard overlords reset the simulation.
They reset the simulation back to 2014. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because what I keep hearing is
Wrinkles.
every time we shift back, Hillary's president, and we keep going to nuclear war within 3 days. And then they keep shifting back, going, I guess we're going to have to try the Donald because the other shit ain't working. So we keep getting reset, and that's why we're seeing all the changes. I don't know.
Because the other thing
personally, I like the quantum immortality theory myself, but
and I always assumed that being anti-fascist was the default setting as an American. I'm not sure when we started having to define ourselves as being anti-fascist, but
yeah. Oh,
that's a new
did
thing.
I just step on somebody? Oh, it's just Doug. Doug, was I going to interview you for a Mandela Effect?
I certainly don't think so. I never said anyway.
I deny. He's in denial.
My lawyer, Carol Bell.
Some people remember when Shirley Temple died. Do you remember when she died?
Yeah, she's still alive.
She's still alive. That's awesome.
Men in black took her.
Isn't she? I'll tell you in a minute. I want to know what they think. I remember her dying as a child. I remember her dying as a child. Then later on, she just died a few years ago. But of course, she's going to die again for you. It happens all the time. Listen, they rang my bell. I got to go.
Come here. Come on, get up here. Hello.
Your own channel, what your thoughts and ideas.
This guy's running the race tomorrow.
Oh, are you running?
That's why I'm crazy.
I'm actually going to be out there at 4 a.m. Well, we'll see.
Are you
That's
really?
that's the plan. Just to say hi. I ain't running. If I run 3 miles, that'll be it. But I ain't running no 100
I've
miles.
got to be out there to make sure he doesn't die because he married my daughter.
A lot at stake.
Well, did you put the life insurance thing out?
She said you got to up
It's
it.
paid up.
That's weird, Will. So, a couple things I want to talk about. I've gotten some comments from some people who have just recently come in contact with Mandela Effect. And one of the things that came up was people who die and what's going on with that and all. And it's my theory, through the experiences that I've had, that when you die, your consciousness shifts into a timeline where you didn't die. And you're going to still be interacting with those same people. That's where your dominant consciousness is. For them, depending on where their dominant consciousness is, they may be already in a timeline where you didn't die or you weren't going to die, or they were in that timeline where you died. And since there's infinite, there's so many different things in between there. So, if this theory is true, that like the catalyst, as far as death as a catalyst for the Mandela effect, your consciousness shifts, so you notice changes. Now, the way I see it, it's a natural thing that we do all the time. We constantly shift. Okay, that's how we're creating motion and time. Artificial ways to do this might be CERN or the D-Wave computer or whatever. That might be an artificial way where they might be causing force mass shifts. A natural disaster could cause a mass shift. Forced, I don't know. It could be divine intervention because more people, at this point in history, a certain amount of people were supposed to have the veil lifted possibly. So now these things are happening to lift the veil. More people are seeing more things. And they're just getting there's more of them. And I'm noticing some weird, strange things. One of the other things I wanted to talk about was a couple of clips that I just took out of this little segment here, because when did Prince die? Now, with naming the cat, I started to look it up, and I thought it was, okay, look, this, I'm not doing myself any favors talking to anybody about this, but I do nothing but tell you exactly what's been going on with me. And it doesn't hurt it any at the same time because of shifting. But when I was looking up the Prince stuff, in my mind, Prince died this year, 2017. Max, 8 months ago, max. And I'm telling you, for me, it was 4.5, 5 months. And that's just how I felt when I was looking it up. And when I first looked it up, I really believed, I was expecting 2017, so I really believed I saw April, I think 21st, I don't know. April something, 2017, but I only glanced at it. And, I wasn't looking for the year, I was looking for the date. Because I know that the cat was born 10 weeks ago, and I was trying to see if it would line up with Prince's death. And I thought I'd make that his birthday. And that's why I was looking at it. So I wasn't looking at the year. But to find out he died 16 some months ago, in April of 2016. Now, I was thinking about that, and I'm saying, well, I remember having a conversation with my buddy Don in Philadelphia when I was back there late April. So that would have been after he died, and saying, yeah, let's get crazy, let's get crazy. Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to get through this thing through life instead of celebrate this thing called life. And we were talking about that. And I can't put my finger on whether or not he died at that point. I want to say, yeah. So this could also be that whole thing about time speeding up. So this may not be a memory thing with me, or it may be. And I also saw things about people were surfing the internet in 93. Computers came around 98, 99, 2000. For me, I didn't even get one until 2000, maybe 2001. 2000. Yeah, right at the end of 2000 is about when I got it. So, there's different things going on in history and stuff. With the Prince thing, I can't be sure. I'm having, I hate to say it, I feel like I'm having a dual memory, because I do remember very recently playing his music and talking about his death, and just really thinking it just recently happened with the whole Queen, the purple water at the Niagara Falls, the lights and all, and that was supposed to be for the Queen, not Prince, on the day he died. I remember all that as if it was not long ago. So for me, I don't know. It doesn't even matter, because I'm thinking that conversation I had with Don, he must have passed at that point. I would think so, but I don't know for sure. I want to say, yeah, he did, and I'm just misremembering. I'm going to call this one confabulation. I really don't know. I've been waiting. I put a couple of videos out, and when I was doing the videos, I was watching these, and I'm going, I can't put that out, because at the time I was so sure the guy died 5 months ago, 6 months ago. And like in the beginning, I'm going 4 months. By the end, I'm saying 7, 7.5, 8. It was just growing the whole time I'm talking about it. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's just this time speeding up thing, and I just wasn't paying that much attention.
Like 2 minutes. We should start playing metal music and then zombies will start coming from the gal who wrote that song, Solar Eclipse of the Heart. Solar Eclipse of the Heart. She wrote that song in 1983. Solar Eclipse of the Heart.
We need to play Anthropocene Extinction by...
It's 10 minutes away from town. So I bought 2 cats. One is a, I haven't picked that one up yet. I get that tomorrow. Jiffy. That's right. Proof that Jiffy peanut butter existed, because it's not Jiffy Pop. It's Jiffy. He's a cream-colored cat, different brown spots on him. So I'm going with Jiffy with that one. The other one's black and white. I got a problem. Because at first I was sure I was just going to go Nelson for an all-black cat, but he's black and white, and he's hiding under the bed, so we're going to leave him go. Bought him on the day of the eclipse. So we got Eclipse, but my number one pick here that I just came up with is Magic. Obviously Magic Mirror. Oreo, double stuffed Oreos. Kit Kat was on there. Mickey's black and white, right? And those Sylvester, there was a Tweety Bird, Mandela Effect, Twilight, can't see what that, Moon, although I do like Eclipse better for that, Nelson and Eli after the Eli Whitney thing, but I was always under the impression that was just, I'll say ignorance or just taught wrong or assumptions, because 55, I think somebody looked it up, 55% of the people that are asked if Eli Whitney is a young black man or an old white male, 55% of them say young black male, and that's wrong, at least wrong for this time on it. But listen, I got to tell you, I'm really swaying towards Magic. And if I haven't named them by the time you got this, I'll let you guys go ahead and vote and tell me what you think. But, I mean, Eclipse is the most obvious. And then I would go Magic. And then Kit Kat with a dash, maybe. I don't know. But Jiffy's a dash. Going through interviews. I've been interviewing people on YouTube. I have 130 videos now explaining my experiences, how I interpreted those experiences, and what I'm doing about it. One of the experiences is the Mandela Effect. Changes in history that cannot be explained. You just went through the Monopoly Man with me. Your name is? You can make one up, Kelsey. It don't matter. They don't care. Richard and Kelsey. Richard didn't remember one. Kelsey remembered both. There's a lot of other things. Like that guy there on the wall, he died for me 2 times. I think I misspoke and said 3 times once, but Muhammad Ali died twice for me. Let me ask you this question. Did you ever hear Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis? Are they both alive?
Jerry Lewis just died, like, recently? I don't know.
Dean Martin's not alive? Jerry Lewis? I remember Jerry Lewis dying in the 90s, late 90s. He just died this morning.
I was like, I just saw something on the news.
Or yesterday, yeah. And I'm like, wait a second. I know for a fact this guy died. So, I mean, there was no way nobody was going to get around that. I remember Dean Martin crying that they never made up because they were in a big fight. Or, I remember the whole bit. So,
what's the Mandela?
A lot of people remember Nelson Mandela dying in the late 80s, and he actually died and went on to become president and died again. So that's what that is. Wow. And then they caught on in like 2010, 2009, something like that. And they started to just call it the Mandela Effect. Personally, I'm not real thrilled with the title, but it is a lot like Mandela, which changes and moves and changes and changes. So that's kind of interesting, I thought. But Mandela Effect. Febreze is spelled differently than I recall it. Then thousands of people recall it. I mean, thousands of people have these memories. And I got Berenstein. Spell the Berenstein Bears.
I mean, how about B-A-R? Well, I mean, is it the pun? B-E-A-R-E-N-S-T-E-I-N.
Okay, the part I'm looking for is the Steen part. S-T-E-I-N?
Well, I think it's spelled like Stein.
Okay, S-T-I-E-N? I don't care. In this timeline, it's S-T-A-I-N, and it's always been S-T-A-I-N. The bell rang. I gotta go. Great talking to you guys, but I supposedly have people coming in tonight and tomorrow to watch the eclipse that have been affected by this, so You're welcome to stay
Oh wait,
around.
can I get in on this?
Go, bud.
Mandela Effects Silver Dollar 2017.
Oh my God.
Butters.
So it is brighter. I noticed it the day of the eclipse. Which way you going, buddy? But I have to say whiter. Definitely white. Brighter. It's nice, beautiful day out. 68 degrees. That's it. That's about as much as we're gonna get now. And not really. We should have drove 5 hours north. It did not get here at all. When it leaves, it's going to leave the other way. And everybody's like, oh, it's because the Earth's spinning and all this. I'm like, eclipse selfie.
That's what I did.
So I've been distracting myself. Except I've been distracting myself with things that I want to do, things that I want to experience. That's something else I wanted to talk about, but right now I think what I'd like to do is introduce everyone to Prince. This is Prince. Say hi. Hello, everybody. Flat. So that's one of them. I got 2. I don't know why I'm in airplane mode now. What you do? He's coming out. The other one's not coming out. Tentatively calling her Jiffy. But I don't know. It's like I named these cats before I got them. And then after I met them, spent some time with them. You know, it's like, because he was going to be Nelson. But then I went right to Magic. Figaro. Oreo. I was trying to stay on Mandela Effects, you know, so he looks just like Figaro to me, but Prince kind of stuck. He looks at me, to me, Prince. Now the other one, I guess I could get out of there, but I'm already clawed up. Now I was going to go with Jiffy, but I had a couple other names. That ain't nothing, and that wasn't even her fault. The dog, the dog came out of nowhere. It was like, so that's that. But I've been distracting myself because I feel what I wanted to talk about is I really feel like everything was fine as far as the outside world. Everything's just right where it needs to be. You know, it's fine because I ain't paying attention to anything. Nothing. And then, I mean, I'm talking a good long month here where I've not been in contact with anything. People know not to talk to me about it. I walk away. I tell them I'm not being rude. I'm doing something and I don't want that in my perception at all. I don't even want to deal with it. Well, last night, somebody said my manager was telling somebody else about what's going on. I said, whoa, I don't even want to hear it. And I walked away. I said, and they weren't even going to tell it. And I walked away. And then just now they were downstairs talking about, well, everything that's going on in the world. And I'm like, oh, no, see, guys. And I walked away. And but I haven't had to do that. You know, and then I'm walking by the TV and I glance at it and I'm like, and all I see is Trump, something, protest. And I'm like, well, you know, whatever. It's, you know, I don't know. I'm shifting out of it. How many of you are listening to this and there's some war going on I don't know about? I mean, if it wasn't for governments, we would not have wars. There was 3 other things I came up with, too, off the top of my head, talking with somebody about it. I'm like, oh, I need to write that stuff down. I can't even think about it. It's like, it wouldn't be a problem. There would not be problems like that on that escalated scale. So, anyway. So, you know, Prince, it's a black and white one. I'm sticking with Prince. I'd say tomorrow I'm making it official. Yet Magic was right there. Nelson was the name I was going to give him before I even met him. Now, Jiffy was the name I was going to give this other one before I met her, but to me, she's more of a Jasmine, a Fantasia. She's got like Siamese colors, but she's a short-haired cat that sheds a lot already. But it's and I was trying to stick towards Mandela Effect themes. That's why I went with Prince. Magic would have worked with Magic Mirror, you know. But she, you know, and now I'm like, well, Prince and Princess would work. But Prince, I mean, I'm sure you get the Mandela Effect reference there. You know, it was Celebrate for me. And I'm sure of that. You know, so that's a good one there. I thought about Ford for a name. This is a girl, so. And right now it's Jiffy, but I caught myself going, Jiffy, come here, Jeff. And I went, oh no, I can't do that. So, no, if it's going to be Jiffy, it's going to be Jiffy. But I don't know. Did you hear that? What I have heard is that since the eclipse, that in 40 days there will be many changes, especially for the United States. And I took that, you know, to a personal level and say, all right, next 40 days, let's keep a nice high vibration and work that. And no, I've had a couple of people state that about coming up for the eclipse. I'm glad it didn't. There was no darkness here. It went 90%, and I kind of understand how it went by and all. If I would have known that's what it would have been, I would have drove 5 hours north to see a total eclipse. But I just didn't understand it, and that's fine. Nobody showed, and it's just as well. It was I stood outside, looked through glasses to look at it. I think I have some footage of what I looked at through the camera, but I don't. I have no idea how that's going to come out or came out. But this time period now, what did they say? I don't even know what the dates are. The 21st from the eclipse till like September 23rd. September 23rd comes out every year, right? Or is it September 21st? No, it's the 23rd that comes out every year. And I think May as well. But it's the September shifts. Wake me up when September ends. I mean, I think it's significant. I think we got this coming up. And that's even without looking at all the fear-mongering horse crap, you know, because when something does happen, it's going to be like, look, we were right. I don't think it's going to cover it all the way, and the camera's not picking it up at all. Go, give it to her. Long deliberation. See, my cat, what I was going to call Cinderella, you know, like I went magic for days and decided on this day I'll name it, and after I spend some time with him. And now this one here, I tried to spend time, but she disappears, and I mean, she is good. You know what I'm getting at. She disappears. I could not find her. I was in a panic. I'm like, how'd she get out the window? She must have left. I mean, that was my only... She was behind the bureau in a corner sitting there. I mean, the cat disappears. So I was thinking, oh, I might have to go Cheshire. Makes perfect sense, right? Got her up on the bed. We're playing. Listen, when she hides, she's the happiest cat in the world. Okay? I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see all this, but I got this stuff. None of this was mean, malevolent, none of it. It was all just me carrying her while a dog came by, or carrying him while he plays, and he's rough. But yes, you're rough. I can't, you know. But he's out and about. She's still under the bed, but she's happy. As soon as she sees me, I can hear the purring from under the bed, and I go under there and I pet her for 10, 15 minutes, and said, look, I'll come under every night and pet you, but eventually you got to come out, or else I'll end up getting another cat. But I've been calling her Ella. I'm getting no response. Fantasia. I'm sure there's some kind of Mandela effect in there somewhere, but I don't really see it. It's not a big one for me. Like, I like the Prince thing because that's a big one for me. But I've decided, and it has been talk about a Mandela effect with this movie, The Princess Bride. So I'm going to go with Buttercup. It makes more sense to me. To me, she's more of a Buttercup, a Jasmine, Fantasia, something to that effect. So, and I thought Princess. I'm sticking with the princess theme, royalty theme kind of. We all know the Blue Bloods are. So, I don't know. Was there a lot of sarcasm in this video? But Berenstain I wrote as a misspelled word. It once. Yeah, it's getting a little crowded around here. Figures. And every time I think of something, I think of something else. And I'm like, okay, we're a little bit much in it. I've had one person tell me that's right, and the other 3 or 4 people I've talked to said it was Olstein with an L. Wonder if I'll ever watch that. No, that's an empty box of Oreos for sure. I'm running out of room. Bernstein, we already been through this. Okay, so click off. Yeah, the bird noises are for the cats. Bernstein still. No. Add Berenstain to the dictionary. I can do that. It's a real word here, right? You think so? The camera's still not picking up the moon, even though it's about a quarter of the way across it. But it's coming down. And when I look at the video from Wyoming, it's coming across, which almost proves we're on a ball. Or it's something else. I don't know. I can't say it proves anything. Doesn't prove we're on a ball, but to me it does make sense. I don't understand why the moon's coming down and 5 hours worth it's coming across.
South of us or something.
To see what it's doing there, to be able to.
And then look up and see what it's doing in all directions.
Let me see.
From us, and then.
So I gotta find somebody.
I saw this pot out here the last couple of days.
Just the last couple of days. I really feel like this the day after the eclipse. I really feel like there's something big's going to come of this. Whether it's a big Mandela or something else, I don't know. And I've been getting 555 now a lot. I was getting the 444s. Now I'm getting 555. Yes, it's me. I look like that guy on Star Wars, right? Wait. There are blue apples. I didn't look deeper into it. I just saw title of a video talking about blue apples, and I looked up blue apple, and I found a site that sells blue apples. Hey, Prince. You know, all these people coming in telling me, Jerry Lewis wasn't dead. If you paid attention, you would know that, blah, blah, blah. Look, he was dead for me on my timeline. If you don't get that, you don't get that. He already died. And I'm absolutely sure of it. It's another 100%er for me. I'm surprised this isn't bigger. I'm surprised more people, this would be, I'd say Jerry Lewis to a lot of people, and they say Jerry Lee Lewis, the musician. And I'm like, no, the comedian, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, he passed already, and we were talking about that. They were dead, and here he comes dying again. Look, if you really feel he was alive, he was. He did not die in the timeline you resided in. In my opinion, you were probably somewhere along the lines of a higher vibration where he survived. You lived with that as well. And, other people shifted from their timeline where he already died into the timeline you were in, where he didn't die, and they're all noticing him dying again. It's that simple. If you don't get that, because to me, there's a lot of people that see the Mandela Effects and they're like, ooh, things changed. Nothing changed. All right? The Mandela Effect book, everything's changing. Nothing's changing. But from your perspective, yeah, everything's changing. Stasha's not wrong. From your perspective, and that's what it's about. It's about your perspective. And, but nothing is really changing except for you. You're the one changing. That's a good backup for your book. Nothing is changing, Sasha. But my book's going. It's slow going, but it's going. I'm really liking how it's coming together. But what was that? So yeah, for me, Jerry Lewis was already dead, and he just died a couple days ago again. And it's for the people that don't understand it. When a product changes, it's not changing. You've changed. You've shifted your consciousness into a timeline where that's the way it always was. Adidas was always spelled like that in this timeline. And it's funny because that saying that people say, there's a saying that goes with each letter to know how to spell it. I don't know what it is. I've heard people say it. I couldn't even guess. But there was two D's, ADD, IDAS for me. And it was. And lids, LIDDS. And people were telling me, wait, it was LIDZ. And now it's just LIDS. I know lids had two D's. My first band, Jetlag, had two G's. So when I saw lids, I was like, oh, cool. It was reminiscent about the old band. And this would have been in the 90s. The reminiscing. It didn't change. I did. And if you can understand that, and I understand why people might not be able to, because to a lot of people, physical reality is a real tangible thing. And I'm thinking, okay, tangible is what's not real. To get on that thought. Things are happening with the cats specifically that I remember. I've had 4 days and 3 days. 4 days and 3 days. Specific things are happening that haven't happened before that I'm remembering as far as I'm going, as far as I'm willing to go with that right now. The wacky shit that I've said in these videos. And I'm remembering certain things that haven't happened yet or haven't happened. It's like as I'm doing it, it's like, I remember this. Or I'll see something happen, I'm like, I remember that. I mean, that's not how I'm saying it in my head, but that's how I'm feeling it. And that's all I'm willing to say in this.
The white one. But, I mean, I put like 12 layers with this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was just like, hey. I didn't know how sick it was because nobody would, like, have them around.
It's going to sound stupid to a lot of people. There's a list of 3, 6, 9 people that I didn't know were dead or vaguely may have heard something and just didn't put it together or didn't care. Or, I'm trying to think of what I was doing in 05, 04, because that's a couple of these are from there. Alan Thicke, didn't know he was dead. Farrah Fawcett, that's one that I'm like, I'm not sure if I remembered that she died or if I heard something or not. I think I may have. Dudley Moore, another one where I don't think I heard of it, but if I did, I must have not really cared, been into something else. Robert Palmer, Tammy Faye Baker or Messner or whatever her name was, I didn't know she was dead. Rick James, I know that's going to sound stupid to a lot of people. I didn't know he was dead. Marlon Brando, I didn't know he was dead. Peter Jennings, unless I'm mixing him up with another reporter, there was a reporter who made a report about a war that wasn't taking place. And I thought it was Peter Jennings. The war wasn't taking place because, in my opinion, he shifted into one timeline, saw the war going on, reported it when he came back out of that timeline. And I believe they let him go or quietly let him go or maybe fired him. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they fired him after that. And I really thought it was Peter Jennings. But I didn't know he died in 05. And Paul Newman, I didn't know he died either. But you know what? I'll bet there's plenty of people out there that remember all those people dying. But it's like right now I'm not paying attention, so I wouldn't know. But back then, I may have seen something or known something. I don't know. And I'm going through that because I'm sitting here going, all right, let me go through a list of people that, I'm looking up the old deaths, and because I'm thinking a lot of people wouldn't have really. Jerry Lewis, as far as I know, hasn't been in the public eye in years. But when I was younger, he was big, with the marathon he had every year, and him and Dean Martin fighting and getting back together and having that reunion, and he was a part of my life when I was a child and a teenager. And when he died years ago, I remember it. I mean, I'm not, even then I didn't believe in death, so it was like not a big deal to me. I mean, I'm like, oh, okay. But I did remember that because he was a part of my life in some timeline, one timeline or another, the one that I'm conscious of anyway. So, I just started going through other lists of people that I didn't even know were dead because I was thinking that. I mean, if there's people dying twice, then if you shift into a timeline where somebody that was dead in your old timeline and now they're not, you must be also shifting into a timeline where there's people that are dead that you thought were still alive. Makes sense, right?
The game.
Take it easy, Coach.
No, I mean it. He was the very best, as sure as the earth is round.
You don't believe that, Coach.
No, I never used to believe it, Sam, till I saw those pictures from the space shuttle.
I'm being real passionate about this Prince death thing. I have memories of talking about it. No, I don't. I have memories of talking with my buddy Don back in Philly. Can't remember, April, May 2016. And we were discussing the song. never discussed him dying or anything like that. I can't, or at least I don't remember that. And I can't remember if it was in a context of where he died because, at some point I thought, all right, celebrity death, Mandela Effects, connection. But, I was listening to Prince the other night when I was closing, and, I have this memory of him dying. The Niagara Falls was lit up purple, but that was because of something with the Queen. It had nothing to do with Prince. At least I'm sure it did. But and I just like all that. To me, all that was 5-6 months ago, 7 months ago max. This year, and that's fading. I'm just saying this because I'm sitting here going, wow, is my memory that bad? Forget Mandela Effects. At least I have some nice new shirts to wear. And I'm trying to think hard on this, and I have the memory of talking about the song with Dearly Beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate this thing called life. And it just rolls right off the tongue. That's what it was. That's how I recall the song. And that's what we were discussing back then. And I don't think we were talking about, did he die? Because I think I would have made that connection, or at least in my own head. And I just feel like I was behind the bar, bartending, talking about, see, but I can't be sure. It's strange because it's like, all this time since I've been listening to him and naming the cat and, that being a 100% Mandela effect for me. I'm just really surprised it's been 12-something months since Prince died. And I don't know. And I'm just go ahead and if this gets put up, this is just because I'm like, well, no. Okay, so I misremembered. Are you kidding me? It's like it's fading too. I'll tell you right now. It's like the memory of him just recently dying is fading. It's, first for me it was 4 months. Now it's 7. I figured before I'm done this video, it'll be 12. I don't get that. But it doesn't matter because, or maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Some of the other things are fading too. I was thinking about that the other day. I can't remember which one. The whole, and it's like every time I repeat a story, I'm like, okay, I don't mind adding things if I remember them as they go, but, I go back on some of these videos and I'm like, it's not the way I remember it. I don't know why I said that. It's not that bad. It might be I just misspoke or said, a different word or whatever, but no. The no meat, I feel good. Spiritually, psychically lifting the veil. I haven't noticed anything. Don't think I'll be going back to meat. The cigarettes I didn't even realize have really cut down. Like a pack every 3 days. And I didn't even really notice it. Just the way, just how I'm buying them. That's what I noticed. I feel good, health-wise. but I've felt some changes, and I dare I say since the eclipse, mainly in my chest. Pain now, annoying more, and I would say more muscle or and finally get to introduce the other member here. And I've decided, since I spent some time with her now, it's not going to be Jiffy. Although I could get away with Jiffy or Kit Kat. Say hi to everybody, baby. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, she's a sweetheart, this one. And you, come on over. Alrighty. How do I do this diplomatically? I'll be the first Mandela affected person to admit that, yes, there are some things out there that could be misremembering. There are some things out there that you may have overheard something that wasn't true, or saw something that wasn't made from the manufacturer. Okay, I'll tell you right now, it's very possible. But there are things that I know for 100% that are not the way they are now. So to tell me I'm just forgetful, misremembering, or don't tell me what my memories are. Okay, I'm doing this diplomatical, and I want to give everybody out there a big fuck you who's telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a crazy man, and I don't give a shit. Don't watch my shit. Don't watch my channel. I mean, why would you bother? Which makes me realize, okay, look, it's my channel, so I'll delete your ass if I want to. Why are you deleting me? Because I don't agree with your comments. Why did you delete me? Coming back on my email. How are you keeping me from your channel? Why can't I find your channel? Because you don't like what I had to say? Yes, it's my channel. If you're not going to look at this from an objective point of view, if you're not going to look at the Mandela effect objectively, if you're not going to study it, even if you're not affected, I don't want to hear from you. It's that simple. You know, I mean, I'm barely looking at the comments that people are, that I do agree with, that do agree with me. Look, I don't care. If you're not affected, you want to study it and look at it objectively and have some constructive criticism would be, hey, is one of your theories misremembering? Because, well, no, misremembering's not. But that somebody drugged me or I've been experimented on, yeah, that is. It's not real high on my list, but it's there because I have an open mind enough to think it's possible. I could have been experimented on with a bunch of other people. They could be doing tests on me now. I don't know. And I'd admit that if that was true, if I thought that was true. It's on there as a theory, but not one of my favorite. Not one of my favorite as far as finding proof for that. So, you know, if you're going to give me a comment, because the comments are going soon anyway, but I mean, if you want to give me a comment that's going to try and upset me and get me off of here, that ain't going to happen. No. See, no, there's something bigger going on here. If you don't see it, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt by saying you're on a higher vibration. Or for that specific item, your consciousness was living on a higher vibration. You don't like what I have to say. Why are you watching it? Because Jerry Lewis. Yeah, Jerry Lewis died. Okay? In a reality, in a timeline that I recall. I don't know what your name is because I've already deleted you off my channel, but you were saying something, so you won't even see this, I guess. I don't know. Just got tired of your bull crap on hassling other people that are agreeing with me that we all remember Jerry Lewis dying, and you're running through going, no, you're wrong, false, no, no, no. Don't waste my time. Care what you remember. I mean, if you're not affected and you don't understand what the Mandela Effect is, if you're going to sit there and say, no, I know for a fact that it's this way. Because even if that is misremembering, you should understand that it might not be from their perspective. It's got to be 5 minutes away. It's not coming up on the camera at all.
So you guys need to step up still.
Look at this.
Step up more. There we go.
Got it?
Say solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse, right?
Zombies, solar eclipse. And tequila.
Tequila!
This is the ghost town I was looking for. Abandoned for what? Water? Army came by and just took everybody out. Is that what happened?
Yeah. They gave them like a half hour to pack up their shit and get out. Because supposedly the ground was unstable or something. I don't know, the Army Engineer Corps came in and said you gotta get out, and that's all. That's why there's still like dinner plates left on the table, there's still shit everywhere.
When we were coming the other way, I saw a car.
They just packed up and left in less than half an hour. And I think it was also poisoning them.
I can't believe they haven't bulldozed it down or anything.
Not allowed to. If they touch this ground, they might release like toxins into the air. Because what this town did was put the anodization onto nails and stuff.
Right.
So, I don't know.
The nails that they built and all stuff, everything's toxic.
Right, and it was poisoning everybody. I don't know.
What about up there? That too?
Yeah, that's all part of it.
Oh, man.
It's a big town.
Wow, bizarre. I was thinking about walking down there and see if we can get down there, go into the houses, check it out. I guess that'd be pretty stupid.
You see any signs saying that?
I see no signs to say you can't go down there.
At least on this side, I don't see nothing.
And up there too. That's wild, man. I would love to explore all that. Could you imagine? Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? Looks like it went over there too. A little bit. All on the hills, and it just... Maybe that's what it was. The hills weren't suitable to live on.
Possibly. There's train tracks down there and everything, probably mining.
Oh yeah, they were doing everything down there.
It's a house. Ghost town. Nostalgia I feel when I walk by a TV with football on. And everything's, that's going back. For me, anyway. When I would stargaze, when I sun gaze, it would usually be when the sun's about to go down the mountain or over, around. But but in the middle of the day, I used to be able to peer up at it and stare at it for a good 5 seconds. I can't do it. And it was always in the middle of the day, clear skies. Hey, yo, how you doing? But now it's even with the clouds there, it's hard to know. It's just white. All right, I was going to just write this down and do notes and do this later, but it's a little complicated to explain. Or I should say, it's complicated to write down. So let me just go ahead and, when I approach somebody that does not accept the Mandela effect or is not affected, it's like you can't bring new people into it now, or I can't. And I run into people that I would just bring it up to, not if they ask. If they ask what the Mandela effect is, who are these guys, what are they doing, what's going on, if they ask, yeah, I think it's fine. If they don't ask, and if I just, oh, by the way, do you know what this is? Did you ever hear the Mandela effect? It just doesn't go right like it did last month or before the last shift or before 2 shifts ago, whatever, because this eclipse shift or difference, I'm noticing things, attitudes, the denseness, the thickness in the air. Anyway, if they're not into it, they're not on any place near your timeline. You're in your own dimension, so it doesn't matter anyway. Okay, move on. I'm not going to approach people anymore and ask. If they ask, I'll talk with them about it. If they are into it, they'll ask or they'll start talking to you, and it's different from when before people would get into it. Now it's like not only are they into it, but they have ideas and thoughts about this stuff too, and it's bigger. It's expanding. It's like it's a conversation between 2 people that get it. That's, because I kept saying, oh, everybody I run to, nobody wants to talk about it and this and that. Well, I just happen to be not running into the right people. I just ran into a guy that I met a couple of weeks ago, and we just started talking about it. And, he just started rambling off shit. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And I'm like, I don't have my pen, can't write that stuff down. What did I say? I can't remember. But the point is, if they ask about it, if people are looking for answered direction and what it's about, then yeah, absolutely help them. I think the conversation will be more effective, more helpful to you, because that's why I'm doing all this. The conversation I just had with this guy in the store helped me more than anything. For him on his dominant timeline or, wherever his consciousness is, I'm assuming the messages were there for him as well. Whether he got them or not is up to him. When I talk here, when I always said, I do this for me. Yeah, I do this for me because I learn a lot from me, listening to myself or listening to myself talk. I don't necessarily go back over. I want to run through my little collection here again. See the globe? I couldn't pass it up. Looks so nice. It did not take long for me to get back into my old habit of just deleting comments that people have never watched my channel before. Just pop on because of the title and then, say what they say. And there was one Christian who, besides, calling me names because of what I believe, I gave him the opportunity to do a decent, him or her, I don't know what it was, to do a reply, a rebuttal, explaining, why they think it's not real or what research they've done, and I wanted her to come up with questions, and I'd be her first guinea pig. I would go ahead and answer the questions and be honest and, see how it went. And I just got back on and telling people they're wrong. No names this time, but there was still no explanation. So I got rid of this Christian on my channel. There's a couple others that will not work if I'm talking a little sour. And a couple others just dumped on it. I'm just guessing that they just made the comments they made to see if I would really get rid of them. And even on YouTube,
You know, my conversation goes for online rude people too. Taking things out of your life that don't just not serve you, but that are negative, that'll run you in a negative direction in any way. Friends, family, people on YouTube, just they have to go. I mean, and it's up to you what you let in your life, what you have around you. It's up to you. You know, the family thing could be tough. And you know, this guy I was talking to was not into the Mandela Effect, but heard of it, looked at it, and kind of walked away from it. Knew about the flat Earth material and said, well, I don't think it's flat, but I don't think it's a ball either, and kind of let that go. But he did mention when I started talking about death as a catalyst, and he said, I don't think there's any catalysts anymore, you know, and I'm like, because he was hearing me talk about shifting in the timelines, and I was going on about that. And he said, I doubt there's a catalyst. And I explained to him about May and September seemed like to be mass shifts. And he started going, wait a minute. Right around the eclipse, I felt something. It's different. And I'm like, oh. I started getting into that with him. I'm saying we shifted. I don't know. Is it something that happens in a minute? Is it a month process? I think it's probably more long term, but I think that long term, like say if it took 2 months to shift, now it's probably down to a week or a day, or I don't know. I think it's closer, maybe not a day, but yeah, I really think we shifted. I got a chance to listen to a couple of videos, which only made me realize, you know, how much I miss it, how much I want to listen to what's going on, because there's a lot of things about this crescent moon. I mentioned the moon looked like it was coming in on the wrong direction during the eclipse. And other people said, yes, the crest is in the wrong direction or something. And other people are agreeing with me. And one of those things I just blurted out. And, you know, I'm wondering, I want to look into that and get on YouTube and see what other people have found. But I'm also realizing now, mainly because it's not about opening up other people anymore. It's not about waking up other people. It was, but not anymore. There's a next step here. And me making videos like it's my job is a distraction. So I have to stop doing them weekly, daily, whatever. If something comes up and I videotape it, I'll make it quick and I'll post when I can, but it's not going to be as frequent. I'm sorry. And it shouldn't be as frequent for you. I mean, depending on where you are. Infinite. So you could be somewhere else. You could, you know, I got people telling me they're listening to my videos from the beginning. I think that's the way to go, because you see the progression of what I've learned, what I've deduced. You know, I start out with, it looks flat. You know, now it's a realm. It's not flat. It's not a ball. You know, we might be enclosed. It's a realm. And that's what we live in, a realm. And that's as far as, that's all I need to go with it, because it's about what's in your perception. So that's as far as I need to go with that, because this is what's in my perception, okay? It's all about what's in your perception, and now I'm really trying to pay attention to what's in my perception, and I'm realizing there are things I enjoy to do that I might not be doing them. Are they of a lower vibration? You know, what is it okay for us to distract ourselves with, and what isn't it?
This girl that says I walked in her store 5 days ago, said, looked at her, she said hello, and I turned around and walked out. It didn't happen.
That is 3 times now that I can count that people said they have spoken to me or seen me or said hello, and I totally didn't respond, and I wasn't in that area. One time a guy said I was at a gas station, And he said hello to me, and I walked right by him, got in my car, and left. And I don't recall that at all around the time he said that. You know, it's funny because I think about that one, and I'm like, I guess I could have. But for me to ignore the guy completely makes no sense. He said I definitely heard him. And the lady at the bar, reaching over the bar, saying, hey, Cynthia, we met a couple of days ago. And just this past recent one where I walked into a store and the girl told me, I walked in, I looked at her, she said hi or something, and I turned around and walked out. I have no recollection of that at all. It's 3 times within I don't know, 2 of them were after the eclipse, 1 was before. Like I said, I think this is expanded. It takes a while. You're going back and forth as well, and choosing. Did I get into that? But no, that was that whole. That's where I got that from Lisa's video, where she kept saying you choose. I've always speculated that we're going back and forth through dimensions, different timelines. Good stuff.
About the passage of time and how time goes. And of course, fascinating, isn't it? It is.
Have you talked about the phenomenon of time going faster as you get older? Feeling that time, just the feeling that time goes by quicker as you get older.
They find that time does slow down as you approach the speed of light. Did you know that?
I've heard that.
Well, they've proven that if you could go at the speed of light somewhere, time would cease to exist.
And would aging then slow?
You'd stop aging.
Too many things going on now in my life that I would love to rattle off, to learn, to help others. But it's just too much personal stuff going on. Basically it'd be me saying, I felt as if I was being walked on, but I was helping somebody out, so I let it go. And then it was becoming more than that, so I had a decision to make, and I did what was right for me, and I could have done things differently, but it took days because I didn't care. I was like, no, this is the right thing. Now there's guilt, and I'm feeling like, not guilt, and I'm feeling like, well, I should have done things differently, and I could. It's because of the trips that are coming my way, the guilt trips that are coming my way. That's what it is. There's a part of me that would like to sit home, just watch movies and chill out. And if I do that, it won't be long. I'm realizing now everything can't be a distraction. And it's not just distractions. Even though there's a part of me, because I'm tearing myself away from it, I'll go for a walk. I'll go out and mingle with people on purpose. Lately I haven't been wanting to deal with anybody's crap. And that's all you really get from other people. Is their shit. And I've been practicing listening, and I don't want to listen no more. I didn't realize how many enemies I have on YouTube. Love you guys. Oh my. And there's other people just giving me information, because obviously these people that aren't affected, who come on and say things, and apparently, and I don't know because I haven't seen it, but they're telling me, they're calling me out and stuff. I don't care, man. You ain't calling me out if you ain't emailing me. You ain't calling me out. You're not calling me out on a video that I'm probably not going to see because I'm not watching your shit.
No, you know, they're not affected. They got their own stuff going on. They are where they are. I ain't got time for that. No, no, sir.
So I'm feeling really good about the things I've been doing. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like this is where I'm supposed to be. But there's a lot of things around me that just aren't right, and it's just a matter of whether or not I want them to be in my perception or not. I was just about to go do open mic night, and I must have had 40 different questions, trivia I could have asked, and I walked in, saw the crowd, 7 people maybe. Just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. I felt like I was going to walk into just a bunch of crap, and so I just turned around and nixed that idea. And I'm sitting here looking at this moon. And I don't know what kind of picture comes up for this, but it's a half a moon. But when I first looked at it, it didn't look like a half a moon. When I first looked at it, it looked like a bulb. I mean, it looks the same as it does now, but it was a bulb just sticking out of the sky.
So I'm done listening to Lisa's video, and I don't know why I'm even a little bit surprised. You can see all the things that I just got done talking about the other days. There was a couple of things in there that I know I spoke about where she just came right out and answered them. I was talking about an issue I had with this guy, and she came out and just picked it right apart for me. And yeah, I really recommend listening to this. I'm going to post it and probably put it everywhere. Okay. How can one's dominant consciousness speak to another's dominant consciousness? Is it possible? I think most of the time with the people you're closest to, you probably are. Infinite timelines. The people you were closest to, you're probably interacting with their highest vibration, closest timeline, closest dimension to yours. So you probably already are. And most of the people that are closest to you, I'd say you already are. That's right. Moon crescent. No, I'm kidding. But that is a topic I'd like to talk about too. I mean, that's a lot of people a couple of people came on and commented about how it doesn't look like it's the same way. And I was looking at it today, and it looks different, but it's not something I've studied. I look at the moon all the time, but I wasn't studying it. I do know that it looks upside down to me since like when I was younger. I think there's certain marks on the moon that were the other way around. Is something fighting back, or am I fighting myself? Well, this is not prepared at all. It's going to end my latest video that I'm already done. I have never accepted money off of anybody from YouTube. And nobody's ever given me money for any of my videos. I would not accept money for people. If they sent me money, I don't know how that would work. People know where to send money now for a t-shirt, but I'm not making money on that. And I have not even sold one t-shirt yet. And this is just because people have requested it. There is one young lady I'm mailing a t-shirt out to. Look, I've never accepted money. I've never asked for money. There are plenty of Mandela Effect channels out there where you can donate money to people that are doing good research and stuff if you wanted to donate money. I don't want money for this. To me, the Mandela Effect is a supernatural paranormal event that is taking place all over the world. Whether you're actually involved in it or not, or yet, or noticed it or not, doesn't matter. It's a paranormal, supernatural thing, and I really don't think making a buck is the way to go with this. But, you know, infinite timelines, people. If somebody's out there making a buck on it, and they're not working, and that's how they're making their money, by doing research and stuff, that's great. You know, people need to make a living. You know, but there's people out there that are falsifying stories that are making money off of it. Like, see, to me, I'm not going to monetize my channel. I tried it for less than a month, and I realized this just wasn't, I didn't feel right about it at all, and stopped. That was months ago. And there's one gentleman making a comment down below that so-and-so says you just make money off of your videos. Not a dime, not ever. So, you know, that's that. There are people that do that. That's fine. Not everybody making Mandela Effect and Flat Earth videos is making money. Some people do it. They spend a lot of time on the computer. They spend a lot of time researching. They feel that they should be paid for it. That's fine. I'm not accepting money for any of these videos ever. I never have. And the person that is claiming I have is not affected. I've already blocked him from my channel. He's just trying to egg people on and get people upset. See, the thing is, maybe he's not. He's just not affected, doesn't see it. He's saying what he sees. That's what, it don't make him wrong.
Look at that. Yeah. And every morning I've been getting up. I'll go out for an hour, walk, do something, come back, go to sleep or whatever again for the night, so I can get a good night's work in. The sun is whiter. There's none of this yellow tint. It's like it was always, it used to be yellow, now it's white, and to me it was always a yellow tint. But now it's white. It's brighter. It's white. I find that fascinating. I don't know why. It's just brighter. Everything's whiter. You go outside, it's like I'm under a halogen lamp. I mean, that's almost what it feels like. Heat-wise, too. How do you spell OxyClean?
OxyClean.
Nah, you're all, how come you always have to be right? Is that right, or is it different? Oh, you were guessing. It's a Y. It's not a Y. It's right there. It's an I. They changed it. Noticed the more people I talk to in this area about Mandela Effects, it's not as... people just aren't as gung-ho about it. Like, they were all into it. They would talk about it, get into it, answer questions, make jokes about it. Now, people aren't even asking me. I used to have people ask me all the time, hey, what's the Mandela Effect? Because I'm always wearing a shirt. So, now I'm not getting anything. Nobody's asking. I've also noticed it's darker for some people. I've specifically noticed some people are really having rough times of it. I've also picked out 5 people that I think will be dead by the end of the year. Dead for me. Because the reason I even got on here was to say, hey, a lot of people I'm talking to have died, should be dead, did something that they could have died. And I was talking to somebody today that said, yeah, I've been thinking about it. I thought about that for a long time, that we're already dead and we just have other things to work out and we're going to finish out our physical reality. I can't seem to get out of Leadville. I'm here. Come visit and say hello. I just, it's just strange. It's not just not being interactive with the Mandela effect. There's more to this, and if that's the case, all right, great. I'm on the right track because I feel like I'm trying to do things I need to do to change, to make things different. And it's not even a matter of trying. If you want to shift, change something. But is that where we are now? I remember back in 15, and when all those different things happened to me, I am quite sure I am dead on a timeline for a lot of people. And, especially my family, because of the way they act towards me, the way they speak with me. Not just that. How often I see them. Now, granted, I moved, I've been moving since 2012. And I interacted with them, I'd say, on a weekly, monthly basis kind of thing for like 30 years. And then now, this is the longest I've gone without seeing my family. It's the longest I've gone without talking to my family. They call, they'll email me and like, why can't, how come I haven't heard from you? Why aren't you calling me? What? You got a phone? Pick it up and call me. I'm in the middle of the mountains and I work till 3 in the morning. So when do you want me to call you? I'm going to wake you up. But this was for a couple of things. Everything I mentioned, people not being into the Mandela effect or really not getting it. It's like right after the eclipse, boom, nobody seemed to care. Even me, I almost take it nonchalantly now, but that's different. That's a whole nother video. Why, just like you did. I'm glad I spent the $250 on that. Well, it's either that or buy more cat toys.
Cat toys are always fun.
Okay. What if, and this is just a theory, just something I came up with thinking about it. I don't know how much I'm buying into it, just some thoughts. Someone dies around the age of 27. Okay, they go somewhere, let's say to the other side of the South Pole, living like kings, or whatever is going on over there. I thought, hey, maybe they're being eaten by the giants. I don't know if there's giants over there. There's some people out there that feel that way, or that they don't know what's over there and they want to check it out, find out. That's the whole thing. What's on the other side of the South Pole? Without getting into that, if they go there to perform with other performers who have died at the age of 27 or 30 or whatever. That's, all these young performers die. Like Prince. We'll say Prince goes over to the other side of the South. And he's living there, performing and doing whatever. And he really dies. Why would they bring him back to announce it? Or are they just announcing it? They don't have to bring anybody back. They just have to announce it and show a picture of the guy. What if Jerry Lewis died in the 90s, went to the South Pole rather than dying, lived the rest of his life there, and when he really died, they announce it here? Really don't think that's what's going on. Just something that came to mind.
This olfactory apparatus, the nasal organ, is used when sniffing other cats.
So I'm going to take that a whole step further with the death thing. If you pass from that physical reality and things become less dense. Each time you die, you shift into a timeline where you didn't die, wouldn't have died. Find a timeline, an infinite timeline where you didn't die. You shift into it. with that, see, and what I'm getting at, okay, you die, it's still for you. At some point, it's only going to be for you. Maybe, theorizing here, when you're born, you're at your dentist, and you grow up, and you die, so you lose a little. When you die again, you lose a little of the density. Is that a word? The more you die, the more you come out of it. You know, I don't want to go there. Just, there's something wrong about that. Why bother experiencing it? Maybe you didn't want to and you were forced into it. I don't know. I think for the volunteers who wanted to experience physical reality, I think you'll probably go ahead and take your time and experience it. But what I was getting at is, this is just for me. If I've died and I've, moved on to another timeline and I'm experiencing things that I wanted to experience. I mean, look, I was in the casino business, moving up for 30 years in the casino business. And, I felt the changes. I didn't know it, but I felt the changes. And look, I changed my place of living, my job. I mean, I moved out of state. I just changed everything. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was the right thing to do, for absolute sure. Maybe the people I interacted with, I died for them, so I needed to get away from them, so I'm not interacting with them as much. Just theories. But when it comes down to it, this is all for me. This is where my consciousness is. This is where my dominant consciousness is. The other consciousnesses don't matter, but I figure they're off doing their thing in case I shift into them. And then I'll have, a whole memory of that timeline. And I do try and stay away from the solipsism, because I do believe all of you guys are with me. I am interacting with people physically. I am interacting with people on the computer through these videos, and I do believe, you're having responses to that, interacting with that as well, but in your own dimension. Regardless of what I do to you or to anybody else, it's about me. What I do to you is about me, period. I didn't mean to do any symbols like that. That was weird. That was just natural. If I treat you bad, it's about me. If I treat you good, it's about me. It's about how I interact with that. It's about how I treat you. There's a guy in the other room that we butted heads right from day one. He's right in the other room, sitting there. They're chatting now after hours, whatever. And I'm thinking about him when I talk about this, because we butted heads immediately. He's all total alpha male, completely. And does he hear me? It's that's all I need. Because now I'm not going to back down. I'm going to stand my ground, especially when I'm behind this bar. I'm going to do my job. And it was just alpha right from the beginning. And we stopped. I did. I wasn't going to submit, but because it's my job, I ironed it out. And now we're amicable. Is that the right word? So this is a perfect example for me, because whatever he did, it didn't matter. It would upset me that he would come to the bar and expect his beer immediately and expect not to have to pay or talk about when he's paying, when I know I wasn't going to get the money for a week. And we don't do that here. You pay as you go. And I said, look, man, this is a business. Well, I said I'd take care of you. Well, look, I'm not. And this is one of those things I wouldn't normally get into. So I'm going to stop there. We butted heads, and now we're fine. The point is, it was how I interacted with that. It had nothing to do with him. And it should. It's about me. You know, it was about how I interacted with that, and I wasn't backing down, and I was, peacock feathers and everything else. I mean, there's no point. And I would always take the defense as, hey, this is a business, you got to pay. Well, I didn't need to necessarily act like that. I could have somebody else take care of it if he didn't want to pay right away. But the whole idea was, it was about me. What did I learn from that? And it's funny because I keep thinking, well, I'm learning something from that, so I let it go and I make up with the guy. And, hey, let me buy you a beer. And he comes in today and he fist pumped me, and I swear to God, if I didn't tighten up my hand, he would have broke my wrist. I mean, why do you got to hit me like that? We're supposed to be shaking hands. You guys out?
I'm out.
All right, brother.
Thank you, dude.
Be safe, man.
You too.
You're a Blue Moon?
Yeah, I'm drinking a Blue Moon.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I know. I want to go upstairs and do what I'm supposed to do. Get into my element. Clean up time. All right. I'll edit the crap out of this anyway. All right, so that's that. It's about me. It's about you, from your perspective, and that's what really matters. It doesn't matter how.
What about how I feel?
It doesn't matter about how Eric feels, but only from his perspective. Hey, are we going to have another Mandela Effect party since the last one went so well?
Next time you want.
I was thinking Halloween, but it should be busy Halloween anyway. It should be busy that week anyway. I mean, Halloween. The holidays are usually big around here.
Oh, Lord, it's going to cover always.
I'm going to find a date where we're slow. There'll be plenty of rooms up here. Of course, they won't be able to drive up here because it'll be 6 feet of snow. I'm exaggerating. It's not 6 feet. You want me to plan it? How much time do I need to plan a Mandela Effect get-together? That's my question. When I first got here, I'm a little ticked that I have no pictures of this thing. I'm actually very grateful. Someone posted that they also are having problems with pinpointing Prince's death. And I felt really stupid putting that out because I do remember talking in 2016, late April, about the Prince Mandela Effects, and I'm thinking, at least about the one, and I'm thinking it had to come up because he just died. And I'm like, yeah, but I still can't pinpoint it as he died in 2017. I mean, it was over a year ago when he died. And I'm quite sure it was this year, but it's not. In this timeline, and my memories are really sketchy. I try to figure out, hey, where was my dominant consciousness when all this was going on? Apparently I was bouncing all over the place. And the whole time speeding up thing, I like it. I like that for me, that would be an answer. And I'm thinking if that's true, I really need to stay in the moment with my cats, with my work, with everything I do. And I can't wait around for people, So I picked up OxyClean and the White Rabbit. And I'm like, it's cracking me up because I enjoy going out and buying these things. It's really getting silly. I mean, my rock collections, my crystal collection is going to have to come down soon. And it's so funny because I don't have some of the obvious ones. I picked up this one book today. It's a $16 book. I'm like, I can get this for $5-6.
you know, as a singular, just to represent the Berenstain Bears. This thing was like a catalog of their books and stuff. I'm like, that'd be cool. But I don't need all that. And like, you know, Mickey Mouse and Luke, I'm Your Father. You know, I can get a lot of these things cheap online. I just happen to be out and see something and go, ooh, should I get that? Let me think. Like, I can't tell you how many times I came across the adult diaper Depend. I won't do it. I'm like, well, maybe if I buy women's brand, that'll work. I know I'm being stupid. Like Mickey Mouse, I've run into him all the damn time, and I'm not grabbing some of those. And it's like some of the other things I'm like running into, like Curious George books. I'm like, oh, I want to grab that. I like how strange it looks. And I'm like, man, I already got that $2 video I bought. That's enough. I also got a very nice email from a young lady who was telling me about her experiences and all. And she has me mailing her a shirt, a t-shirt. So that made me think, if anybody else wants me to mail them a t-shirt, I'd be happy to. You know, with the cost and with what's going on with the bar on it and everything. You know, there's not making any money here on this. If anything, I'm trying to get the boss's money back for putting out the money for the shirts. And he says, don't worry about it. Next summer, they're going to go like hotcakes. Because that's the thing. Around here, it gets busy in the summer. And in the winter, it just slows down. I mean, we've sold a couple here and there, but I would have sold 10 shirts a day, you know, a month ago. I just couldn't get them made quick enough. But anyway, send $25. That'll include shipping. I mean, unless you're out of the country, if you're in another country, it'd be cheaper for you to have your shirt made down the street, honestly. You know, just make up your own. But if you want one of these with Silver Dollar Saloon on it, Mandela Effects on the front, Silver Dollar Saloon on the back, it'd be $25, include shipping in the United States. And look, I could lose money on that. I don't even know. And if you want one without the Silver Dollar Saloon on it, you know, just tell me the color, the size, and what kind of pattern you want on the front that you've seen. And it's going to take some time because those are special ordered for me, and he goes for the other ones first. So that would take some time, but I could probably get it to you. What's that idea? You just send me the money and your address, and I'll send it out that day. Or, well, email me what you want, and I'll start having it made. So this way I can get it out as quickly as possible. I also noticed with this email that there are people that are just getting into this. You know, I've been at it for a while, and the Mandela Effect to me is the one thing that went commercial. And out of all the experiences I've had, you know, this is the one I kind of gear on because it's popular. A bunch of stars, if they did jump out at a bunch of people in 2015, you know, as far as I know, and a couple other people said, oh, thank you for that, you know, and I'm guessing that the same thing happened to them, and nobody's saying anything. If people have had conversations that didn't take place, you know, having characters and TV screens look at you, blurting out phone numbers that are almost 40 years old. I mean, these experiences, as mild as they may seem, some of them, didn't grow. I had many, many experiences that all point to our consciousness is what shifts through timelines, and that's how we experience physical reality. And we're kind of stuck in this pattern. And there's ways to lift the veil. And as much as experimenting as I'm doing, I saw something in the sky the other night, and I had meat. You know, so I'm like, well, you know, what was it? And, you know, I do think look, the orbs made an impression upon me to stop eating meat. And I did for a time and went back. And, you know, circumstances, I went back. And now I'm still in those circumstances, trying to tear myself away from it. And I explained all that stuff already, so I'll be getting to that. But it's all the experiences that have showed me that it's our consciousness shifting through time. That's how I'm interpreting it. And I've been seriously thinking about, wow, I want to help people with this, because I'm a lot further along as far as the experiences and coming across the Mandela Effects. And if somebody says, yes, it's always been cheesed, I know it's always been cheesed, I'm not going to jump down their throat and tell them they're wrong. I'm going to talk with them and go, okay, it's always been. I'm going to explain what my interpretation of what is going on is happening, and I'd be able to help them. I'd want to have all the defined answers before I can help other people. But I could be a psychologist in Mandela Effects and try and talk with people, and I think I would really enjoy that. I have no idea how to go about that. If anybody wants to email with their questions, email me, and I'll, do the best I can. I guess that's a little off. That seems a little strange, but that's how I've been feeling since. I'm like, wow, these poor people are going through the things I went through in September and October of 2015. The pain, the darkness that comes out, the darkness you have to face. It's very interesting. This little chit chat here is going way longer than I expected. I don't even remember what I said, but I've been wanting to talk and I haven't been able to. Here anyway.
Hearing is not that it can hear the squeaks of mice, but that it can hear human voices, in particular low-pitched male human voices.
Humor son, come. Good boy.
Which the size of its head and the size of its ears, therefore, dictates that it should be able to hear.
I should really have this sound going throughout my videos. Perfect.